Hello and welcome. Today I'm going to be going through each one of these categories and just explaining each one. I'm going to start with close-up. As we go through the photography, and I realize that we don't have access to all our fancy SLR cameras and all the manual features that come with it, and we're just trying to do a photography assignment in a creative way that can be done with our iPhones. I will allow you to do some editing in a Photoshop-like program, an editor for doing some basic cropping in that. But of course, no Photoshop compositions are going to be made. You can just enhance the existing photograph. Today we're going to go through each one. Each lesson is going to be a different category, and today I'm going to be talking about the close-up one. Okay, so I have some examples here that I'll just be going through. Let's just go to, here we go, and then we're going to go to full screen, and we'll just start going through them. So really, the idea of doing a close-up, those of you who took it in grade 10, it's kind of the same thing. It is really stopping and smelling the roses and taking a look of what's around you, and just what's interesting in the little things that are around you. It's about looking at the details, and looking for like imperfections that you just think are pretty cool. Okay, this is a nice example of a close-up shot here. A lot of times when you're doing close-up shots, naturally your camera will create a low depth of field, which means that you got some stuff that's in focus and a lot of stuff that is blurry. That's just a nature of doing a close-up shot. There are ways of getting around that if you had like an SLR camera, but that's okay. We may have some trouble with if you're just using your phone in order to take these pictures, just getting in close enough. But I'll allow you to crop in. And we're going to take a look at some good ones. We're going to take a look at some bad ones. This one here is pretty good. It's just got it's a nice hit of color. It's nice, maybe almost kind of like a rule of thirds type of thing. So it's just a nice shot. Would be nice if you got in a little closer on it, and just so you can see the whoops. There we go. Just so for you to see the detail of it. Let's go down, let's go back here, and we're going to go next one. This one is again a really nice shot composition wise, although it looked like, and you got to be careful of this, it looks like the camera, and I'm not sure if you can see it from the video, maybe if you go at full screen, but like this stuff is still pretty blurry in here, and it is pretty cool, but the camera, I think, actually focused in on this area back here. This looks a lot sharper back here, so just make sure that when you're taking the photo that it's just focused on like the area that you want your eye to go to. And you can just make sure you do that. If I had my phone, I'm just talking iPhone because that's just what I have. If I just click here on my screen, it will focus on here and gauge the light for this area. Now this is again a close-up shot. This must have been assigned around Christmas time. Kind of neat. Probably would have been a little neater had they actually just gone in a little deeper and just kind of focused in on the actual light bulbs in here, so you can actually see the details in here. I think that would have been a neater shot than just pulling back and just seeing a big clump of bulbs here. In this one, it is a neat shot. You know, I would have given it a good mark, but there's a lot going on here, and it would have. I just see a big mess of bulbs. I don't know where to look first. Okay, whereas if you just kind of go into the shot a little bit and zoom in on it, and just so you see this like a pyramid type of thing going on here, that's maybe a little bit more aesthetically pleasing. Let's see here. Nice picture. I like it when students compose their own pictures and do a close-up that way. This is a really nice, a nice photo. Just some old headphones, but I really like the way that they I don't know if they did it on like some construction paper and they just did a hit of light coming from one side. It's just a very neat shot, and I like it when students compose their own photographs. They have an idea in their head and they just play with their own lighting, and you know, you just don't point your camera in a direction and you look at it. This person obviously had a picture in their head, and they went with it, and And another thing, photography is all about light and controlling light. And if you can just get into controlling the light around you, you can really, that's when you really start taking your photography to a next level. If I just zoom in even more there, just to kind of cut out a bit more of the stuff in the background that we didn't need, I think that would have been a little bit more interesting too. Yeah, see there, now see, you kind of get distracted by all this stuff up here, whereas if you just kind of just cut out the stuff that's, there we go, the stuff that's not essential to the photograph, then I think that that's, it's a little more pleasing on the eye. This is a neat close-up shot. It was just obviously a tree that's had maybe some disease and some bugs around it that are causing this. They were kind of, back when this tree used to have bark on it. These are probably bugs that were crawling around underneath the bark. Kind of a neat shot, although not a whole lot of contrast in order for you to see the cool details here. As opposed to the next shot, I purposely put these two shots back to back because they're, just with the lighting, and yes, there is a little bit more contrast here, but because you have like maybe a light coming from an angle, you can see you can see the shadows and you can see the detail a lot better. Whereas this one, they shot it outside, and there's a lot more. The light is a lot flatter, shall we say. There's a lot more surrounding light. Okay. This shot here, kind of a neat shot. I do like it when students compose their own photographs, and they and this person actually they painted up their hand. They painted up this dandelion they found, and they decided to do something cool because they thought that that would be cool. If you want to do something because, oh yeah, I think that's cool, go for it. Experiment. Even if you make a mistake, I would rather you just experiment and have fun with it and explore it a little bit and make a mistake than just to do nothing. So go ahead, take a chance. I like chances. This is an example of a bad one. Yes, this is a close-up of a loonie and that, but there's just no contrast here. I can't really tell what is going on. So maybe like I can barely make out the 1988 here. So if you're going to do that, like put some light into it and so you can actually see the detail of it, and try and put that light maybe on a low angle so you can see it. But right now, there's nothing going on here. As opposed to this is a really cool photo, and I love seeing the imperfections that go on. You've got all this all the dirt and all the scratch marks. I don't know if this is a kick plate of a door or what exactly this is, but I really do like seeing the imperfections. Okay, again, I'll skip past this one. Again, another one that a student has composed. Very nice. They just took maybe a single light. I don't know if it was like a table lamp or something. Maybe it was like some felt or something they had for their jewelry, and they decided to come up with something themselves. Really like that's when people do that. And you're at home, you have the opportunity to do that, so why not? This is super close, and yes, you do see the leaves and all the little textures here. But what's even cooler is that there's actually drops on the flower here. And I remember this girl telling me about this photo, and she actually, I don't know if she used like a little eyedropper or whatever, but she actually put these drops on there so she could take this photo. So real attention to detail here. Close-up is about detail. This one, this isn't the greatest shot. But I keep this one in here because students will say, if they're at school, they say, "Oh, I got nothing to take pictures of. I'm just here at school." And this was a shot that was just taken, I think, in the auto shop, and it was just like some oil that was spilt on the ground from when they were changing some oil. So there's lots of interesting things around you if you just stop and take the time just to look. And really, if you just go to your garage and just see there's a bunch of junk out there, or your dad's just finished changing the tires around, taking the snow tires off, and there's going to be lots of neat things for you just to find different patterns or different things just to zoom in on. Again, a nice composed shot. It's all right. It's all right. This one's okay. Like this one better. I love seeing, oh, that's kind of neat. This one almost tells a story. Like you've got these things kind of around it, but your eye really zooms onto this. And then I didn't even notice, like you've got like this bolt and you've got this little, like a flat screwdriver kind of a connection. Oh, that goes probably in this thing. Oh, that's kind of neat. I like it. I like it when things kind of tell a story of what's going on. This was probably taken in the manufacturing shop. This is another example. I've got a couple back-to-back here of dandelions, depending on the season that you're taking photos in. Yeah, sure, this qualifies as a close-up shot. That's okay. That really does. That is like, so. Yes, that is a nice photo of a dandelion, but frankly, it's a photo of a dandelion, and that's okay. But I think this is a much nicer shot. Number one, like the dandelion is just kind of thrown over to the left-hand side here, and then over on the, you can just see other stuff going on in the background. You can see the details of in here. It looks like little pieces of little silk strands or threads or fishing line even that are going on here. So it's just a much more interesting shot. Number one, just because they threw the dandelion off the side, and two, they're zooming in on one main focal thing. This one, the guy would have been a lot better just to kind of zoom in on it like that, and maybe just throw that off to the side. Would have been nice if this guy might have been seeing a little bit off there, but certainly a lot more interesting if you just zoom in on it as much as you can. Let's get out of here, and you can, some people try to deliver a little bit of concept with it, kind of a neat. This one's got like a little bit of a religious flavor to it, and that's perfectly okay. But people and they're doing like a neat little play with shadows there with the heart, okay, and then the ring. So just very conceptual. I like it when the people are conceptual like that. And again, all this is, I think this is a fan for a computer. And you see, oh, look at all the gross little like dust or whatever that is. Then it's just kind of like a neat photo. And actually, I like the composition of this. It's just like you have all these things. You got this one little focal point here, and you got all these things just coming out from one thing. There's a lot going on here, but it all works together. All right, like you're all zooming into like one main focal point. Another neat shot. I like the imperfections stuff that's going on here. It would have been like better if that was maybe just zoomed in just maybe a little bit more, but not bad. I liked it. This one was okay. Would have been like nicer for you just to kind of just. I don't care about your hockey stick and your puck. Okay, I care about the details within that. Okay, what's cool about the inside? Like what's cool about this are the way that the hockey tape is all chewed up here, and the way that this is all chewed up here, and the way that and the texture on the actual hockey puck. That's what's cool about this picture. If we just kind of zoom in a little bit more, maybe tuck it over to the side where you see all that. Hopefully maybe this would have been focused and this would have been a little bit more in focus. Then I think that might be a little bit more of an interesting shot, okay? Not just a shot of your puck and stick, okay? Just try to zoom in. Very cool. Here's a nice example of just the interesting stuff. Like all these interesting details or stuff that you wouldn't normally notice otherwise. What makes this shot cool isn't necessarily the actual the composition here. It's actually the light and the color and the light that's coming from behind and the way that it's illuminating the outsides of these edges here. That's what's making this shot so cool. This is a bad shot. Okay, yes, it is a close-up. Yeah, it was kind of neat, but it's blurry. Please do not hand in a shot that's blurry. Hand in a shot that's got at least something in focus, okay? If the whole thing is blurry, take a different one. Don't, it looks like you And please don't give me a shot where it says that you don't know what you're doing. And this tells me that this person says that they don't know what they're doing. Wow, that's a neat shot. Actually, that's a very neat shot. Find this stuff here, a little distracting down here. Again, just zoom in on the, just take out the stuff that's, there you go. Take out the stuff that's distracting and just cut right to the stuff that's interesting. Whereas like this over here was maybe a little distracting, okay? Again, every shot's different. Well, that's kind of neat. Those are like nails. Oh, you know what? I think that, is that like it's like the hoof of a horse or something? These look like, almost like, is that somebody, I'm going to get back, I want one of you to tell me exactly what that is. Is this a horse hoof? All right. Neat shot, very neat shot. This one, okay, there's two sides to this one. Yeah, it's kind of neat, but I know for a fact that all this person did is that they just went out in their backyard and they just plunked their camera down and just shot it, and with very minimal effort, okay? I want you to try and do a little bit of exploring, okay? It would have been neat for him just to see what's interesting about what's back here, instead of just walk out on your back deck, plunk your picture down, and take a picture. Because I know this student, and I know that's not what they did. So please push yourself a little bit more, all right? And it looks like they need to sharpen their lawnmower blade. Maybe one of the nicest close-up pictures I've ever received. This is absolutely beautiful. These are, like, I don't know, are these icicles or something? But just the way that it's all lit from in behind, and you got this soft focus. So very cool. One of the nicest shots that I think I've ever received. It's okay. Too bad this is out of focus and it's focused on here. Okay, if you want to live dangerously, you can do something like that. Again, getting back to the dandelions, maybe I should even put this one up by the other dandelions. Kind of cool. It's kind of neat. The imperfections are what makes this picture cool. Like even just looking at that stuff down there, like that's really cool stuff. All right, stuff that you don't normally look at otherwise. Yeah, okay, that's all right. That's somebody's tongue, kind of gross. That's a beautiful picture. Just seeing all. Let's look at the drops there. A little bit of there. Kind of a neat, lots of neat lines happening here. Again, kind of neat seeing the rust, and again seeing the imperfections here. I guess I'm kind of, if you didn't notice by now, I kind of like the imperfections. Beautiful photo. Keep an eye on this one. There's another one coming up like it, but kind of really neat color. But actually, I'm going to compare that one to one that's coming up later. Okay, it's kind of neat. Yeah, okay. Yeah, there's that other one. How neat is that? So all your and you got these neat lines, like your eye just goes down to here, and then you're just bursting up in all these different directions with these lines. Now that is cool. So when you compare it to that versus this one, which is another very nice shot. However, just gotta say that's a really neat photo. Okay. Oh, and more dandelions. Okay, so thanks very much. That's, I hope, is a pretty good explanation of what I'm looking for close-ups. Do the best you can. I realize that maybe your phone might not be able to get as close as some. Just do the best you can. Thanks very much. Have a good day.